What's up, America? That's right, it's Friday. Hope everyone's had a fantastic week and you're ready for a frantic, fun-filled Friday. We are on the Discuss Combustion Happy Friday, America YouTube channel. Be sure to mash that subscribe button so you never miss an episode of both. We just got rocking out with the frickin' as they bring us in and bring us out every single week, so be sure to show them some love. My name's Kevin Batstone. I'm excited that the weekend is here. We got Friday first, of course. It's snowing a little bit here in the Denver area. Hopefully the weather's fantastic. We're springing those clocks ahead on Sunday. Don't forget, folks, we're going ahead. And speaking of going ahead, let's go ahead and bring in my good buddy, my co-host, Arthur, the always ambitious Rawe.
Oh, yeah, I like that one. That was a good one. I was thinking about some intros the other week that I did not use. That would be for another program. However, I am excited that it's Friday and that we're bringing in the weekend. And, Kev, how do we start every single one of these episodes out, man?
Oh, we got to do some history, man. Today in history. Let's go, Art.
Let's go March 8th in history. This first one I had to put in here, 1817. The New York Stock Exchange is founded. Obviously a huge deal. We were talking Bitcoin last week a little bit. That's a big one.
That's a huge one. I utilize the NYSE pretty much every day, doing a little bit of stock trading myself. So pretty crazy, man. It's been that long. 1817, unreal.
Yep. And moving on, this one's coming out of Utah, Castle Gate. Look, we hear these things happening in other countries. There was a coal mine explosion 100 years ago in 1924 that killed 171 folks out there in Utah. Rest in peace to those families 100 years ago, even though they probably wouldn't still be alive today. However, moving into 1936, I know this one tickles your bones, Kev, so I'm going to let you take this.
Yeah, this is tremendous here. 1936 here on March 8th. The first stock car race is held down there in Daytona Beach. Of course, if you don't know NASCAR history, it started as moonshining, and these guys would go down and race their hot rods on the beaches of Daytona. And finally, that's what ultimately became the National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing, also known as NASCAR.
Yeah, that one's definitely fun. We had 5 nuclear tests on this day in history. One from the USSR, 1957. They do an atmospheric test. And then also we have 4 from the United States, all in the Nevada site. 1962, 1973, 1980, 1991, we were still testing bombs out there. Moving forward here into 1983, House Foreign Affairs endorses nuclear weapons freeze with the USSR. So that was kind of a little bit more nuke news. And then this was a big one, more recent in 2014, the Malaysian Airlines Flight MH370 with 239 people loses contact and disappears. Now, I did not realize this, but at that time, it was the most expensive search effort in history and one of the most enduring aviation mysteries.
Well, and as far as I know it, they still don't know what happened to this airplane. It's still a mystery 10 years later. I watched a documentary on it. I mean, I remember watching this when it went missing. Like, this thing's going to turn up in a few days.
It never did.
It never did. They don't have anything.
And it was over the land too, right?
I believe so. The last ping that they had, because they have that data where it shows like what it did, it like banked off, and then that was it. It just went off the radar. No one knows where it went. It's a conspiracy, of course. People have their opinions on it, but there's no evidence that this aircraft exists or ever existed.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that's today in history, March 8th.
Pretty crazy stuff, man. All right, let's keep it moving into current sports news right here in Denver. I think a lot of people saw this coming. Russell Wilson has been released by the Denver Broncos, but he signed a guaranteed contract. So what that means is Denver's going to have to swallow $85 million to pay to Russ because they agreed a guaranteed contract payout.
Wow.
And Russ can just, I mean, honestly, he could just sit on his couch for the rest of his career and just invest that $85 million. But I think, I mean, it's tough to say. He still has some years left in his career. And I have a suspicion that my New England Patriots might be interested in him.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't pay too much attention to sports. I do remember that there was like a lot of hype to Russ coming from Seattle to Denver. You know, he had some good season out in Seattle, but you know, he just didn't really play. I mean, if I was the dude, I'd probably just be like, all right, my name was known long enough. I'm gonna just kind of enjoy the rest of my life here.
I mean, with an $85 million guarantee, you don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything.
You literally do nothing.
Well, so you want to go out there and go get beat up some more?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, these guys,
when you already got it coming in.
Yep.
But you know, maybe he has a beast within. Maybe he has like this fire within he can't tame. He needs to like get it in some way. I don't know.
Well, I don't think he's, you know, a lot of football players don't want to go out in those situations, being released from a team, you know, this and that.
And that's how it ends. Like, that's not a good way for it to
You
end.
just take your money like, well, that's it. I got cut from, you know, a championship winning team. No. I think he's going to want to play. I don't know if he ends up in New England. Some people have said Pittsburgh. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'd entertain that idea. Russ, I think it has the talent. He just needs to be in the right situation. And New England's on a complete rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, it's been tumultuous in Denver for quite some time as far as the team goes, and I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. But speaking about Pittsburgh, we got balls out bowling events happening in Pittsburgh April 28th, 2024. So we're giving people plenty of time to plan for this one. All right.
All right. Why don't you let me know a little bit more about what this balls out bowling actually means? I mean, is it what it sounds like? Like your balls are actually out?
This is what it sounds like. So it's a Pennsylvania naturalism group, and I guess that's not Pittsburgh, PA, yeah. And so they announced that they're going to be able to go ball in the nude. You could go ball in the buff. Go ball in the buff. And basically what's going on with this thing is nudity is required, with the exception that women can wear panties. They're under bottoms.
But men can't.
Yeah. Men got to go.
So dicks hanging.
Yeah.
Balls are sagging.
Cock and balls out.
Cocks are flopping.
Yep. You do have to be 18 plus, obviously, to go in here. It's $25 a ticket. They stress that it's that the safety and privacy will be paramount, so there will be no filming, no photography, no recordings, nothing allowed like that. Sexual activity is not permitted. Nudism does not equal consent, and harassment will not be taken lightly. And then violators will be asked to leave. I feel like it should be a little bit harsher than just being asked to leave if you do something creepy, when you're at this event. So my two questions. Mm-hmm. What kind of age demographic do you think is going to actually turn out to this thing? Do you think it's going to be 50-50 men and women?
No, I don't think it's going to be 50-50. I think it'll be maybe 70-30, mostly men.
Yep.
That's my guess. But there's a lot of nudist colonies and communities. There's one where I grew up in Lee, New Hampshire, that would get together and do activities. So some people are into that shit because it's not a sexual thing. It's just a naturalism kind of thing, as you had mentioned. So, but the same token, you're inviting in some weirdos because it's to anybody. So if, for $25, you can go see some nudity, cheaper than you could at a strip club, so to speak. So I think the average age will probably be 30 to 40 is going to be my guess. Average. Yeah. I think you'll get some older ones. I think you'll get some younger.
Yeah.
But kind of middle age would be my guess.
I think it's going to be on the top end of middle age, like the older middle age.
Like 40s?
Yeah, 40s and the 50s. Is 50 middle age? I guess.
Yeah, I suppose if you live to 100, that would be middle.
And we'll talk more about living to 100 or maybe past a little bit later. But my second question is, would you attend an event like this?
So do you have bowling shoes on while you're nude?
You still got to have the shoes.
I was going to say. Yeah. I mean.
So they say that you want to please bring a towel and a bag for your belongings. So maybe you could sit down on the towel.
So you're not sitting on some weird shit?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be interested in doing this. Just throwing a ball down the alley naked. I think I'd rather have some clothes on when I do that.
Yeah. Now, how about a nude beach? Is that something you would do?
I mean, I'd be more apt to do that than I would nude bowling.
Yeah.
Because then you're just chilling, you're laying in the sand, you're drinking a beer, whatever. Rather than bowling, I don't know. There's something about dicks hanging that I'm not real excited about with the bowling.
Yeah, and if they would have named it breast out for bowling, I think that would have been a better title. Yeah. That probably would have caught more momentum instead of this balls out for bowling.
It almost sounds like it could be like
out.
Homosexual men, but they did allude to that women can wear their bottoms.
Yeah. I say change the name to breast out for bowling. I'm not going to be attending this event. I do agree with you that it's going to be in a little bit older middle age. And I would not want to do this. I would go to a nude beach.
Yeah, I would probably do that. I don't know if it's something I really want to do, but I would if I had to do a would you rather, which is also coming up later. Nude bowling or nude beach, I'd take the beach.
Yeah, and me too. Hands down.
Yep. So, all right, let's keep moving. Kev's Random Records. One of the weekly segments. There was a couple to choose from this week, but this guy, I mean, everyone knows who this guy is. He comes up almost annually. He's held the Guinness Book of World Records for the most Big Macs consumed since 1999.
So he's still going.
All he's doing is adding to this record. It's just insane. So Donald Gorski started this thing out a long time ago when he went to McDonald's, and he said, I'm going to eat this for the rest of my life. He started on May 17th, 1972, and he said, in that moment, I'm probably going to eat these for the rest of my life, and he did. And he started counting the containers, loading them up, and he just keeps adding to this record. So as we look at it now currently, the man has eaten 34,128 Big Macs, and actually we could probably call it 34,129 now because he's going to eat one today on this fantastic Friday.
He probably is, man. That's crazy. So it also says he ate at Burger King once. He had a Whopper in 1984, but decided it just didn't taste the same. And so he stuck with what he liked, which was the Big Mac.
Which was the Big Mac.
Now, so I know we've talked about this before, but the same question still comes to my head. Like, when he started this in the 70s, like, those Big Macs had to have been better back then. And I wonder, since he's been having them weekly, like, if there was ever a pivotal moment where it's like, dang, the Big Mac really kind of changed. Or maybe it did stay super consistent, hence why he's still doing it. Well, I don't know.
It's hard to say because when you've eaten the same thing every day, I think you would notice it more if you hadn't had one in 10 or 15 years. Mm-hmm. It's just like when you see somebody every day, you don't notice their physical changes as much as you would if you haven't seen them in a while.
Correct.
And so the biggest question people go is, how's this guy still alive after 34,000 Big Macs? Eating McDonald's every day we know is not probably recommended. So he said he hasn't suffered any ill health effects from the unusual diet, and he maintains his physique by staying away from the French fries, Art. He just eats the Big Mac.
Interesting. The fries are one of the best things at McDonald's, but not later. They're only good fresh.
They got to be hot.
Yeah. And even if you reheat them, like, they're just not the same.
They're too salty, though, I think. I don't like the salt anymore. I'm not a big salt guy.
Yeah, you do the Danos with less salt, too.
Yum, yum, get you some.
I mean, we could go into a whole conversation on that.
Yeah, that's for another show for another time. But
I don't know. Okay, so if there's one thing that you're going to eat every single day, what would it be? If you could eat something what?
Well, does it have to be food?
Yes.
I'd probably eat. What do I like the most? I don't know, man. I like a lot of different things, but to eat something every single day.
This is easy.
Well, it's not going to be candy. It's not going to be pizza.
Why not pizza? You could have all these different types of pizza.
I get sick of pizza.
No, but you could.
I had a craving today.
You could do all these different types. You could do a white sauce pizza. You could do a fucking red sauce pizza. You could do all these different types of pizza. You could do a thin crust. You could do a deep dish.
No, I know my answer now. Something I'm going to eat every single day. Mushrooms.
Mushrooms?
Edible, not necessarily the psychedelic.
Yeah.
But, edible mushrooms.
Put mushrooms on pizza.
You could put mushrooms on pizza. But if I choose mushrooms, I can put...
But that's not a meal. That's not like the meal.
It doesn't matter. I could make it a meal. I could do stuffed mushrooms. I could do sauteed mushrooms. I'm taking mushrooms.
Okay, I'll go pasta. I could eat pasta every day. Some type of noodle every day.
That's fair. I'm sure the Italians will agree with you on that one.
I'm definitely down with that.
Yep. All right, let's keep it moving.
That's a good record, though. I like that one.
Yep. So he's going to keep ripping tater chipping. Who knows how many of these things he's going to eat. He's still got some years left in him. All right, it's time for the Would You Rather segment, Art. So before, I don't even have the Would You Rather in my script this week because Art decided to keep that from me. So we're going to see my reaction. Live action.
Handwritten, baby.
It's handwritten on there. I don't have it, but what I do have is the results from last week's Would You Rather from our Twitter, X. Be sure to go there every Friday, check out the promo clips, and get involved in the poll that goes up for the Would You Rather. That's at Happy Fry USA. So last week we asked the viewers, if you could, would you rather, if you were in a situation in the writing community or being a star, right? So would you rather be the star of the show and never have written any of the content, you're just kind of the front man, or would you rather be the ghostwriter that writes all these fantastic Grammy-winning records, scripts, movies, what have you, but you're in the background? 75% of the audience went with ghostwriter, 25% went being the star. I like that.
Me too. Everybody I ask, because look, sometimes I come up with these would you rathers, I just start asking my peer group. Like, I'm like, hey, how's this one going to test in the market? Everybody I asked opted into the ghostwriter. So that's fun, and thank you so much for participating in the weekly Would You Rather on X and Twitter, a.k.a. Twitter, and then, of course, in the comments here on YouTube. So this week's Would You Rather, I don't even want to answer this question. This one's a difficult one for me personally. So, Kevin and listeners, viewers, would you rather never have sex again or never hang out with your friends again?
Oh, man. That's a tough one. God. I mean, so would the person that you're doing coitus with not be considered a friend, like a female friend?
That's like a lover, you know.
Or never hang out with your friends again. I mean, because if you take that route, then masturbation's still in.
You could hang out with your friends and masturbate.
Not with your friends, but on your own time.
I mean, depending
or with your friends.
What kind of friends you got? I mean,
yeah. I mean, maybe you do circle jerks. That's not my thing, but so that's an option. I think. Oh God.
I mean, you could still have a girlfriend or a significant other, and oral sex is also included in this. Like sex, oral sex.
You have to give it up all together.
Yeah.
Or hanging out with your friends all together.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
I know, it's such a tough one.
This is hard.
That's a tough one.
That's how they should be, though. These would you rather should not be a layup.
No.
Just make you think.
Yeah.
Because socializing with your buddies,
it's so much fun.
Whether you're a male or female or whatever you identify as, it's very important, social interaction. But sex is also very important as well. Now, if you would ask, maybe somebody that's some of our older viewers, they're going to say the hell with sex. They've already done it. They're good. They're probably going to take the friends. Younger viewers are probably going to go sex. I'm gonna have to forego my friends, man.
Yeah.
I don't like that, but I had to choose one.
Look, I was thinking the same thing, because you still get companionship, like with a significant other, right?
I suppose.
So that's still there, and then you have that intimacy of the actual like act.
That's tough.
I love my buddies, but I don't know what else to say on that one. This one was really tough.
That's a tough one. I'm glad you didn't put it in the script, so I didn't have time to think about it.
Yeah, no, that
but
one
even
was
if
tough.
I had time to think about it, I'd still be on the same boat.
Yeah, because I don't like either answer.
I don't like either answer.
I don't like picking either. How about you?
That's a tough one.
Which one are you gonna go with? Are you never gonna have sex again, oral sex included, or are you never going
to visit with your friends?
Yeah, you're never gonna see your friends again.
Tough one. Let us know what you think down below here on YouTube or over on the Twitter X poll that we put up every single week. That's a tough one. I'm going to be thinking about that one for a while.
Yeah, that was good.
All right, let's keep it moving. So speaking of things that people have been thinking about for a while, so going back to the ancient times, they're still kind of studying some of the prehistoric life.
Okay.
And there's a lot of new discoveries that are coming with it. And this was actually a pretty interesting article for some folks that are into the dinosaur age and things of that nature. So there's been some research happening with these ancient sea lizards. They have dagger-like teeth they've discovered. So these creatures, and we took a look at it before we went on the air of what this thing looked like. I mean, not super
It looks like something you could have seen before, but there's so many variants that are similar, and there's still a new species that they're discovering.
Sure.
Similar variants.
And they're finding these skulls, and they're finding, carbon dating and all the technology that we have now. They're able to look at these creatures and skulls and things that existed. Some of this stuff going roughly 66 million years ago. They're still able to, take a look at it and go, okay, this was a sea lizard with teeth, or it was this or that. There's still great new discoveries coming from these species that existed a long time. But they're saying this thing measured about 23 to 25 feet in length, which is pretty massive.
Big.
That's pretty massive. That's longer than a shark.
Well, it's like an orca.
It's like an orca, and it did have a chiseled jaw and pretty aggressive teeth in it. So I would encourage the viewers to scroll down, click on the link so you can see it for yourself. But what do you think about this?
I mean, the first thing I thought is like, hey, is there a picture or something in this link?
And there is.
And so I pulled it up and took a look right before the show. I had to take a gander. I mean, look, I think it's so interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and make a side note here. I feel like I'm grateful to be born during this time. Some people are born and they're like, I should have been born another time. Well, guess what? You're alive right now, and it's all this evolution that's led to this point in time, and there's so much rich history on this planet. It's really outstanding, almost overwhelming, and just it's a beautiful symphony of life and death, and the cycles continue, man. So we're gonna keep discovering new things from the past that are going to definitely intrigue the scientific communities. And I think it would be cool if like we discovered something like from the past, like something fossilized.
Oh yeah.
And and then we like could extract something like how they did in Jurassic Park, like the mosquito blood DNA from dino DNA, but instead of dino DNA that they extract, it's actually like some kind of like stem cell something, and I don't know where I'm going with there, but there's a whole sci-fi story start for anybody interested in writing.
Yeah, that could go a lot of different ways, of course, but I just think it's cool that we still keep innovating the discoveries, and they're able to determine what the species looked like, how big it approximately was, what it feasted on, things like that. So kind of nerded out on this article. It's cool to see things that are that old. And speaking of things that are getting a little bit old, you got a story for us.
Yes, congratulations to Maria Braneas Morira. I'm saying it wrong, and God bless you, lady, because you hit 117 years old on March 4th, earlier this week, and this has made her the 12th oldest verified person in history. She looks old, but she's still getting around, still doing her thing, still pretty, she's with us, like, as far as like her cognitive abilities. Maybe I lost mine for a moment.
Yep.
But I just think it's kind of crazy, so I wanted to celebrate that. You know, it's fun news, it's happy news.
Yeah.
And so she was born in Spain. Well, actually, she was born in San Francisco, and then she lived in Spain for the majority of her life. She also worked at a nursing home for a really, really long time. So she obviously knew how to take care of other people and herself, you know. And I feel like out in Spain, too, the type of diet and food that they eat is a lot healthier than what we got here in the States, unfortunately.
Yep.
So I'm really rooting for her to reach her 118th birthday next year, because when she reaches her 118th birthday, she will then be the 5th oldest person ever alive on this entire planet.
That's pretty amazing when you think about it. 117 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most people don't even make it to, I think the average age now is like 71, 72, average, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got folks that live longer, a lot of folks that live much shorter. But, you know, March 4th, 1907, think about that. It's just an incredibly long time ago. I know my grandma, Ruth Batstone, she was born in 1909, and she made it, I believe, till 2009, 2010, almost 101.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
That's awesome.
You know, that's just incredible. And yeah, I do think diet, family, genetics, lifestyle, things like that play into it for sure. But man, I hope she becomes the oldest person ever of all time.
Me too. And if you tune into our episode of Discussion Combustion that dropped yesterday, we had John Bates on. He talked about the importance of close friends having an emotional outlet, and I guarantee you that also contributed to her long life, was having a place to express her emotions freely.
Absolutely. Would agree
Great,
with that 100%.
strong friend group.
Yeah, happy birthday. Congratulations. Keep going strong. Doesn't matter what age you are, you can note it at any moment.
Let's go, Maria. And let's go, Kev. What else we got?
All right, so taking it over to the video game world, I was kind of poking around and found something interesting here that actually, hopefully you can help me out a little bit, because I'm not well versed in the Nintendo Switch world. I know, you got me into playing Super Smash Bros. With you guys, so that's about as much as I
for stepping in. Congratulations for stepping in the ring.
It's a war zone, people. It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
Okay.
It's palms will sweat.
It's a serious battle, and
Yes.
I feel honored to even sometimes come in second in that game. Anyway, so the Nintendo Switch emulator of what is it? What is this thing? Yuzu?
I've never heard of as Yuzu.
I'm not sure what it is, but they are going to be paying $2.4 million is what they have been ordered to pay in a monetary relief to cease the offering to the public, providing marketing, advertising, promoting, selling, testing, hosting, cloning, distributing, and otherwise trafficking in Yuzu or any other source code that features the uses of Yuzu. So I don't really know what Yuzu is, but it's kind of a $2.4 million settlement is kind of a big deal. So were they kind of not plagiarizing, but basically doing third-party things that Nintendo did not consent to? I was a little confused on that.
So, yeah, just based upon the brief overview here, I believe Yuzu is a specific type of hardware that could handle all the Switch capabilities, in which they made an emulator, which is not Switch property, but then you could play all the Switch games. So an emulator, you're able to play all these different games. They probably didn't have the rights to actually doing this, or maybe
the
like
licensing,
or like the user interface, or something was going on with that. And due to that, Nintendo, who I'm gonna say this, Nintendo is ruthless when it comes to lawsuits and protecting its property, but that's also because Nintendo is one of the only companies out there that is like all in house. Like if you look at video game companies, Nintendo's like the Apple of video game companies.
Yeah.
They have Mario, they own Mario, they have their own hardware, they own all the properties that are on it. It's very, you do get some cross-platform games that are made from outside developers outside of Nintendo, but you think about the Nintendo Switch and you think about like stuff like Mario Party, Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros, any Mario thing, all the DK stuff, like all this is Nintendo property, and so they hold on to it pretty tight. And so when Yuzu came out here and was creating this emulator to, so you could play the Switch without owning a Switch sort of thing, Nintendo had to step in. I will say that there's some really cool Game Boy Advanced emulators out there that I used a lot on my phone. Those are a lot of fun. Emulators can be great, but I think you're better off doing an emulator on previous equipment's software, not the current console.
Because we've seen a lot of these other emulators bringing back the 64, the SNES, things of that nature. So I think what this does is it sends a message to other corporations that are trying to maybe do that with Sony PlayStation or Microsoft Xbox, that it's really not going to be tolerated. So a $2.4 million settlement for these guys probably just about turned them upside down. I don't see how they can be profitable after that, with Nintendo saying, hey, you basically took, our cryptographic keys, things that were unauthorized for you guys to utilize. It's a bad look for Yuzu. It's probably going to put them under. But, hey, it's a win for Nintendo.
Hey, Nintendo, a mega beast in the game, and don't F with the Mario Man.
Don't F with the Mario Man. Well, if you're not playing video games this weekend, there's probably a lot of great things going on. The weather's heating up. We're putting the clocks forward a little bit, so we're going to have some lighter, later days. I love that art. Springtime is just around the corner. And if you're out in Kansas City, Missouri, we got Planet Comic-Con going on for all you, kind of game nerds, your Comic-Cons, your it's
comic book nerds,
comic book nerds,
Star Wars nerds,
all
fantasy,
that stuff.
Sci-fi. Look,
they're fun.
I've been to the Fan Expo, which is the Comic-Con of Denver. It's so much fun, a great time, fun outfits. Definitely go check that out in Kansas City, Missouri this weekend. If I was out there, I'd love to go.
KC Mo.
Also, what we got going on is the new music festival out there in Dallas, Texas. What kind of music? I bet you they got some hip-hop. I bet you they got some good old string plucking as well. Check that out in Dallas.
Yeah, good old Dallas Tejas doing the new music festival out there in Chi-Town, Chicago, Illinois. Actually, it's going to be in Rosemont, which is just outside Chi-Town. It's a 2024 Chicago car show.
Oh, that would be fun.
Man, I love car shows.
Car shows are really fun.
Well, you get to see all the new models rolling out for 2025.
It's all the classics we want to see.
You see the classics. It's just a fun time if you've never been to one of these big car shows. The Denver Auto Show's here next month.
I actually, when I used to sell cars, I got invited to be one of the reps that was at the car show.
The Denver Auto Show?
Yeah, and so I got to show off all the Hondas and answer questions, but then I was like, hey, can you cover me? And I would go walk around and check out all the other stuff. It was so much fun.
That's kind of how I did at the Denver Food and Wine Festival. I was, representing a booth, but then I got to go try all the fun things.
So much fun.
Yeah, those things are just something fun to do, of course.
And this weekend is going to have a race, so tune in to Mash the Gas on Monday. That is a sister show here on the Discussion Combustion production umbrella, I should say, and it's hosted by my good friend Kevin Smash the Gas Batstone and Jeff Full Send Davis. Where's the race at this weekend?
Oh, we're down at the Phoenix Raceway in Phoenix, Arizona. You've been to this racetrack. It's not the championship, of course, but this is the track that the championship's decided at. So this is an important race for the teams, for the owners, for everyone to gather intel from when we're back there in November. It's always a good time down there in desert. I won't be there this time, but I'll certainly be watching. Probably have the fellas over for something delicious. Still haven't decided what I'm cooking yet.
Hey, that's always fun. And hey, it's Friday, so let's look forward to a fun weekend. Let's make this a fantastic day. Today's your chance to own it. You can do it. We believe in you here. Definitely check out the Fricashinas. They bring us in. They bring us out. You know that you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Happy Friday USA. Twitter/X, Happy FRI USA, Happy Fry USA. Or if you're old school, want to get us in touch with the email. Isn't it crazy that emails are old school nowadays? Regardless, happyfridayamerica@gmail.com. Let's go, Fricashinas.